So before I jump straight into the North Wrestling review, I do just want to make you guys aware of something that was posted on the North Wrestling socials if you are unaware, and that is a GoFundMe for Sam Fisher, a member of the North Wrestling faithful. He has been a big supporter of North Wrestling. I've only jumped into North Wrestling recently, but I have been made aware of obviously a lot of the North faithful because people have shared my reviews and stuff like that, and it's sort of the stuff you pick up from watching the shows. There is a GoFundMe available for him regarding an issue with flights to Philadelphia, and yeah, I will post the GoFundMe down below because the independent wrestling community is a great community. We all show some support, we all show some love, so go and show some love to Sam. Thank you for your time and thank you for all your support regarding this. The indie wrestling community is so great, so awesome, and it's really cool that we support each other, show some love and respect. Now, let's talk about some awesome indie wrestling. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Millie Mckenzie. Today we are talking about North Wrestling NCL.54 Let the Cannons Fly 6. That's right, we are on number 6 of these shows. North Wrestling is not slowing down in terms of their output. It's been awesome to see just the response to all these shows, and Let the Cannons Fly 6 was a stacked old card. The Young Guns versus Will Cruz and Rampage Brown, a big trios match with man like Doris, Kidy Lykos, Zazoya, Miles, Kamen, Kemper, Liam Slater. There was a lot of stuff on this show, and when I sat down to watch it on Triller, I was like, this is a breeze to watch. It was an absolute joy to go through. 2.5 hours long. Every match felt impactful. This was one of the most succinct, precise, and just breezy shows to watch, and I had such a blast doing it, and I can't wait to talk about the rest of the show. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with the show overall, as I said in the intro, I think it is an awesome show. It was really, really good. I feel like I've been craving some independent wrestling because usually my fix is like Progress, Burning Hearts and North Wrestling, and it's been a while since Super Strong Style. It feels like it's been a while since the last North Wrestling show, and the Burning Hearts show was in March, so I was ready for this. I was fully hyped and ready for this. I was there, ready to sit down, and then I realised it dropped at 9:30. I was like, oh, I can't do that, I can't watch that then. So I watched it this morning and had a blast, had an absolute blast. It was so fun, some really good matches, an incredible main event. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about all of it, starting with my play-by-play, my run-through of the show, which began with Tom Campbell, as always, doing a great job of ring announcing. And then we got the first match, which was Sapphire Reed taking on Millie Mckenzie. This was supposed to be Emerson Jane versus Millie Mckenzie, and as you probably know if you've watched these videos, that is one of my favourite matches that North Wrestling have ever put on. So Sapphire Reed stepping in and taking the place of Emerson Jane. This was a really damn good match. This was so fun. Sapphire Reed, I think I've only seen once, and that was on the Pro Wrestling Eve show, the one with Jamie Hayter. This was really good. You had Anita Vaughan out there as well with Sapphire Reed. You had the shenanigans going on. You had Millie Mckenzie just looking awesome. And there were some really cool bits in here. You had like Sapphire Reed working over the leg of Millie Mckenzie to try and neutralise the ability to do suplexes, because she is a suplex machine, of course. But yeah, I really like that story. I really liked the way that they told that, and just working over the leg of Millie Mckenzie. Anita Vaughan gets ejected early from the match, like really early from the match. You very rarely see it where the manager is like thrown out straight away, but she was thrown out straight away, and that gave Sapphire Reed the advantage. She hit this really nice foot stomp sort of through the ropes to Millie Mckenzie, and it looks like that's what popped Millie's nose open, because Millie was bleeding from the nose. And yeah, that's when she started working over the leg. That's when she started, you know, being a bit more methodical. But there was a really cool sequence of quick kicks that she did, like really quick kicks on Millie Mckenzie. That was an awesome sequence. Then Millie Mckenzie makes the comeback. She hits a great dragon suplex and a spear to pick up the win over Sapphire Reed. And it looks like Anita Vaughan is going to beat down Millie Mckenzie after the match. Millie Mckenzie barely gets time to celebrate, and she's already getting beaten down. But Emerson Jane does come out. She says she's not been cleared to wrestle tonight, but she is cleared to wrestle at Leeds. If you're watching this video, Leeds has already happened, so there'll be no spoilers for that show. I'm waiting for it to drop on Triller to do my review. And yeah, the match is set up. Rio and Emerson Jane taking on Sapphire Reed and Anita Vaughan. That's really cool. No Millie Mckenzie involvement in that match as of yet. Yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm very, very excited, and this was a really, really hot way to open the show. Then we got a tag match of Vanity taking on Tom Thelwell and Joe Kessler. The team of Ronan King and Judas Gray makes up Vanity. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've seen any of these guys wrestle. I know that Kessler, I think, is really big in Atomic Pro Wrestling. I'm pretty sure I've seen him advertised for that show. I've not watched one of the shows, so I was very unfamiliar with a lot of the people in this match. And Vanity really stood out for me. They have a really cool look, really cool vibe to them, and the way they carried themselves was really cool, like really different and really awesome. I particularly like that Judas Gray, his bumping was awesome. Like his bumping and selling of some of the moves that Kessler and Thelwell did was really cool, and you got a really cool bits of tandem offense here, like a gut wrench splash that Vanity did, which was really cool. They like gut wrenched someone up and then hit a splash, and then you got a similar thing from Kessler and Thelwell when they hit a sort of gut wrench cutter as well. So there was really cool tag team offense in here. It was a very back and forth match as well. You had a lot of hot tags. Tom Thelwell looked awesome as well. They each had their own hot tag, did Kessler and Thelwell, but ultimately it was Vanity who picked up the win here, sort of bolstering that tag division. They got a cheeky low blow, cheeky roll up for the win. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where that goes. I'm hoping, like, the tag division is stacked. We'll talk about the tag division at the end, but you've got people like Young Guns, Vanity, Thelwell and Kessler, the Cyber Stallions, they were calling him. And that's not to mention the fact that obviously North Wrestling do a lot of intergender matches as well. We had Natalie Sykes in the tag team #1 contendership match, so you could even get Medusa Complex in there as well. There are so many great teams in North Wrestling right now. And yeah, I think this was the right decision. I think they'd make a great pairing to go against Cruz and Rampage at some point. Yeah, I have no complaints about this. Then we got a cool backstage segment with Anita Vaughan and Sapphire Reed. Obviously, they are upset about their loss. And then we have something that I wasn't expecting. I can't remember if this was advertised or not. Maybe I missed it. But I was very intrigued to see where this goes. And that is, let me get sure I've got the name right, Keggy Stacker. And this was a talk show segment between Benji and Zio Knox, with Keg Stacker being the sort of Jerry Springer of it. This was very Jerry Springer, even from the font on the bottom of the screen. Very Jerry Springer. We know what they were going for here. They have the kegs on either side of the ring, and Zio Knox comes out first. He gets the reaction that we expect from Zio Knox, and Benji comes out afterwards. And this was really interesting. This is a sort of setup that you don't really see for a lot of indie shows. You don't really see talk show segments on indie shows, but the way it was done almost felt like a cool little parody, a niche little parody of talk show segments in wrestling. Wow, that was hot. Talk show segments in wrestling. Got it out. And it was also quite impactful from a character standpoint. Like, the promo that Benji gave to Zio Knox was really impactful and really heartfelt, and you felt the sort of frustration that had been building up through his time in the landed gentry, and Zio Knox being a bit more manipulative of him. It was really, really well done. He issued to Benji an offer. The offer being, we can enter the tag team #1 contendership scramble match, and we could win, and the landed gentry can get back to their former glory. Keg Stacker asked the crowd what they think, and I'm not going to say the word that was used, but it rhymes with punt. I don't want to get the video taken down because I don't know what the rules of YouTube are, but you can guess what I mean. They call Zio Knox a punt, and that was really funny. I will props to that because that was really funny. And yeah, seemingly Benji accepts the offer from Zio Knox, but it looks like, the way it's shot, it looks like he's got his fingers crossed behind his back. yeah, very interesting tease for what comes later in the tag team scramble match. And as they leave, Kegstacker has his golden pints and he says he's going to have a sort of invitational for Thunderstruck and sort of leaves. It was an interesting little tease for what's going to happen and something that happens later in the show. Then we got a really good Vanity promo in which they just said they're sort of here to stay, and that's really, really cool. And then for the Ultra Violence Championship, Charlie Evans versus Big Lou Nixon. This match was about as insane as I expected it to be. There was some really cool stuff in here. I particularly liked the opening of this match where they're doing these sort of shoulder tackles to each other, knocking each other down, and when Charlie Evans knocks down Lou, he gets straight back up and he almost seems irritated. He seems really pissed off. He sort of squares up with Charlie Evans in the corner, and that is what sort of incites the rest of the violence and carnage in this match, because there was a lot of violence and carnage in this match. I could run down every spot that happened and I would probably still forget some because there was so much gnarly stuff in here. Lou Nixon is busted open pretty early into the match from I think it was from a chair shot, throwing a chair into the face of Lou. But there's a bucket that Charlie Evans gets, and the amount of stuff that came out of that bucket, it was like a magic hat. You thought you were going to pull a rabbit out or something like that. The amount of stuff that came out of it was insane, and it just ultimately built to probably the gnarliest spot of the match, because we've seen Lou Nixon go through, and I know this isn't tame, go through the spiky carpet things quite a few times. We've seen people go through them. I've no idea what it is. It was just like a metal plate that had spikes on, and it looks like he's going to use that on Charlie Evans, but Charlie Evans sort of gets the upper hand. Lou Nixon goes to low blower. Obviously, that doesn't work because biology, and Charlie Evans just plants these spikes into the head of Lou Nixon. It looked sickening. It was disgusting to see because they were just spiked into the man's head, and I was like, props. They've done some really cool stuff in here, and that was sort of the peak of the violence. But what I loved the most about this match, and what really impressed me, was actually just the subtle storytelling in it, because for the most part of the match, it looks like Lou Nixon's trying to get this choke on Charlie Evans. He's been trying to get this sleeper in, trying to lock it in, and he just can't do it. They're always standing. And the ending of the match, when Charlie Evans has poured out the thumbtacks and Lou Nixon has her in the choke, and it's the only way he can get her to tap out, he falls back himself into the thumbtacks, maintaining the choke, and Charlie Evans just taps. It was so badass, so cool, such an innovative way to win, that yeah, I was just like on a high coming off this match because it was so well executed. I think that Charlie Evans, I've not seen many Charlie Evans matches, but in terms of the storytelling that she does, the Cara Noir match for me is one of my favourite matches ever. It was so well done. I love the story that they told in that match, and I love the story that they told in this match as well around the choke. It was really well done, really well executed. There's obviously some like really cool spots in here as well, like a knee through steel chairs and stuff like that. But yeah, that storytelling really got me. Lou Nixon retains. He retains. There's a show respect at the end. Yeah, this was awesome. Really, really well done. Then we got a big trios match as Man Like Doris, Kemper, and Kidy Lykos II took on Miles Kamen, Liam Slater, and Zazoya. This match was about as awesome as you think it was going to be with these guys in the ring, because they're all awesome. They're all really good, and they all bring something unique to the table. Like, Kemper's massive. Kemper's absolutely massive, and he has the power game. Miles Kamen, heel. Awful heel who's just in and out of the ring doing shenanigans. Liam Slater, who's a bit more technical. Zazoya, who's just looks like he's there to just have a blast. Doris, who's just there to have a blast. Kidy Lykos II, who's the high flyer in this. It was just so many different elements working together, and what played into it the most was the story that the bad guys, they cannot get on board with each other. Zazoya does not fit the bad guy mold. He is there to have fun. He's not on board with some of the shenanigans that are going on with Miles Kamen, where it looks like he's going to cheat, he's going to put his foot on the ropes and stuff like that. And then you have the stories between the people on the other team, Kemper and Miles Kamen being probably the most prominent one, where they barely touched, aside from a few double team moves and Miles came and breaking up a few Kemper pins. There was not that much interaction between those two, on each other's teams. And that was interesting as well. I really liked how that played out. You get a great hot tag later on when man like Dries comes in. He hits his sort of springboard, it's not really a springboard, I don't know how to describe, handstand super kick, which looked awesome. He then hits a 619, a springboard drop kick. He is just running absolutely wild on everyone. And the ending of this match, again, was really, really interesting because it played up the bad guys couldn't get along, but it was ultimately miscommunication and sort of distraction from the good guys that caused the upset, because Liam Slater looks like he's going to rip the mask off Lykos II. Looks like he's going to pull it off, but he pulls it sort of over his eyes. He goes to super kicks Liam Slater, but hits man like Dries, and then Dries gets rolled up and wrapped up in a pin from Liam Slater. It was really well done, really well executed finish, and we'll get to a promo that came up later, something very interesting for Liam Slater. Yeah, I thought this was a really damn entertaining trios match, like really, really fun. And there's stuff that I haven't even spoken about because so much happened. There was a bit where Kemper was just running wild, just destroying everyone, and it took all three men on the other team to eventually get some cohesion just to take him down. Yeah, I love this match. I thought it was so fun. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Then we got the Scramble match for the Tag Team Championship #1 contendership. This was a really cool concept in that the winner would get to choose a competitor of their choice to be their partner. And there were some cool entrants in here. So #1 was Henry Faust and #2 was Joe Wade. And as soon as Joe Wade came out, I was like, that's my pick. That's my pick to win. And I was so goddamn close. So goddamn close. Him and Henry Faust went at it, and they had a really cool sequence, like early on. It was really, really good stuff. I was like, okay, this is what I want to see. Kicking exchanges. It was like worked MMA done well. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And then who should come and spoil the fun but #3, which was Zio Knox. He comes down, and I'm like, oh, okay, looks like we're doing this. He gets a few shots in at both guys. And then #4 is Benji. Interesting. Very interesting here. And it looks like they're going to work together. Zio Knox has got Henry Faust and Joe Wade in the corner. He's going to hit double teams, but Benji's a little bit apprehensive about it. It looks like he's going to run. I think it was Henry Faust, but instead rolls up Zio Knox. 1, 2, 3, eliminates him early. So Knox is eliminated, but he sees the mallet. He sees red. He clocks Benji right in the face with that mallet, and Benji is eliminated. Knockout. I was like, oh, okay. They're clearly, I think they're going to have some sort of potential death match going forward, some sort of big stip match, because props to them. I think they've built this feud really, really well. And yeah, that sort of takes out the landed gentry from the match. Next up is Natalie Sykes, and she gets some sick offense in here. She's going up against Henry Faust and Joe Wade, and she's running absolutely wild on both guys, and it was really, really cool to see, because I wasn't sure if this would be intergender, but it was awesome to see Natalie Sykes in there. And then who should spoil the fun but Shreddy. Shreddy comes out at #6, and yeah, he's struggling to take his jacket off because his muscles are too big, and he just gets destroyed by everyone. Joe Wade, Henry Faust and Natalie Sykes all sort of lay a few strikes in, but then he does get the upper hand. He sort of suplexes a lot of people. He hits a load of big power slams on people, and sort of while still in his jacket, which I thought was pretty cool. Next up is Jake Silver at #7. He comes down and he gets a few shots, and it looks like he's going to hit a sort of slingshot code red on Shreddy, but then Nathan Black comes down and costs him. Yeah, just sort of pulls him off the apron, beats him down a bit, rolls Jake Silver into the ring, and Shreddy hits a powerbomb, I do believe, for the win, picking up an elimination on Jake Silver. Jake Silver wasn't in there long. I presume there's some sort of history here, but like I said in the intro, I haven't necessarily watched like all the lore of North Wrestling, but I'm interested to see where this goes. I think something I will point out as well, they did a really good job of recap packages on this show. Some really cool, like, well-edited video packages to sort of keep you up to date on the feuds that are going on. So yeah, very quick elimination for Jake Silver. Then we have the final entrant, and that is Clint Margera. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Margera? Clint Margera. I would say Margera. Bam Margera. Clint Margera. I'm going to go with Margera. I hope that's right. Clint Margera. Okay, we've talked about the name. He is number 8. He is the last entrant, and not been seen since Thunderstruck 2. I'm not too familiar with Clint Margera, but when he came out, I was like, he's got a sick look. He's got some sick wrestling moves. He's very quick, very smooth in the ring, hitting a lot of great forearm strikes as well. He was like really laying in some of those strikes. And yeah, we have sort of the final few, and Shreddy is eliminated next as Henry Faust manages to roll him up and pick up the win there. And that will ultimately come back to bite Henry Faust later in the match. There's a really, really cool bit with the final 4 where Natalie Sykes locks in a double armbar on Margera and Henry Faust and is just wrenching back on it, but then Joe Wade comes in and hits a double stomp and a brain buster and eliminates Natalie Sykes. Then it looks like Henry Faust's going to get some offense in, but who should come back after being ejected by some of the security people? It's Shreddy. He grabs the foot of Henry Faust and sprays mist right in his face. Then Joe Wade hits another brain buster to pick up an elimination there, leaving the final 2 being Clint Margera versus Joe Wade. And when Joe Wade was in the final, I was like, please Joe Wade win, please. Clint Margera, you're really cool, but I really want Joe Wade to win. And it didn't go my way. Joe Wade did not win, but there was a really cool sequence here, some really cool moves, and a really great near fall. They did a good job of setting up that the brainbuster eliminates people, and then when Margera kicked out of the brainbuster, it was like, oh, okay, this is where we're going here. And then it was a Falcon Arrow and a Death Valley driver for the 1, 2, 3, and Clint Margera wins his return match. He will get to pick a partner to go to Thunderstruck 3 with. No complaints, particularly when we find out who the partner is. Yeah, I thought this was an awesome scramble match. This was really, really fun. And then we have our match for the North Wrestling Tag Team titles as my boys, the Young Guns, Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen, take on Will Cruz and Rampage Brown. Now, when this was announced, I was like, this is going to be awesome. This is just going to be awesome. And I was right. This was really, really damn good. You got a lot of these sort of power spots early on of Will Cruz not being able to be taken down, but then it just sort of like every Luke Jacobs match kind of does at times. They brawl through the crowd. They're brawling by the bar. Just get both Young Guns get dropped face first on the bar, and it's just really fun. It's just really fun when they're brawling through the crowd. Ethan Allen hits a running kick from the bar to Will Cruz, and that is sort of what ends up isolating Will Cruz. They take out Rampage Brown on the outside, and then the Young Guns get in the ring and they get more of an advantage. They sort of get to work over Will Cruz a little bit more. There's a big suplex battle between Will Cruz and Ethan Allen. Ethan Allen then manages to make the tag with his leg, and it looks like they're going to double suplex Will Cruz, but Cruz suplexes both the Young Guns and drops them because he's cool like that. Then Rampage Brown gets a tag and he runs wild. He runs wild numerous times. The chops he was doing to Luke Jacobs at the beginning of this match were sickening. And he was on a roll. An absolute roll here, just destroying both of the Young Guns. And it led to one of the best false finishes that I've seen. Well, there's quite a few false finishes in this match that were really, really well executed. You had a great sort of deadlift driver, the crucifixion from Will Cruz to Ethan Allen for a 1, 2, almost 3, like 2.999 as Luke Jacobs pulls the ref out. That was so well done. Then you have the Young Guns getting in there and they're cheating. They hit Will Cruz with the belt, hit Will Cruz with the chair. 1, 2, it was a slow count because the ref's just been taken out, and then Rampage pulls the ref out. 1 for 1, really, really awesome way to do it. And then they get in the ring. Rampage Brown is sort of the equalizer here. He's the one who manages to take out Luke Jacobs. Then Ethan Allen gets hit with a Cruise Day device for the 1, 2, 3. Retain the titles, do Cruise and Rampage. Yeah, this was a sensational tag team main event, like so unbelievably good that I have no complaints about it. It was really, really damn fun. And then Clint Margera comes out after the match, issues the challenge for Thunderstruck 3, and his partner will be none other than Trent fucking Seven. That match is going to be great. That tag team match is going to be absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. And that capped off the show. That capped off Let the Cannons Fly 6. I thought this was a blast. I thought this was an absolute blast. One of the most fun wrestling shows that I've seen in a while. I have very few complaints about it. It was short, it was sweet, it was succinct, it was to the point, it did exactly what it wanted to do, and propelled us further to Thunderstruck. We do have the lead show that hopefully when it drops on Triller I will be talking about that as well, and then Thunderstruck on the horizon. Can't wait. It's a very exciting time. 4.5 out of 5 for me if you want a rating. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them. Were you there? Do you like North Wrestling? Do you not? Let me know and I'll try to apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.